Hello Internet, welcome back to our experimental Cataclysm series. If you don't know, this is the show where we talk about updates that have come to the experimental version of Cataclysm over the last couple of weeks. Now, this video is a little bit late. If you want to know why, you can click this card up in the corner. I made a small channel update where I talked about why, or really what I'm dealing with, and life is just horrible, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to jump into Cataclysm. Now, normally I always say, oh, it's going to be a quick episode this week, and then I end up rambling for 30 to 40 minutes. But this week is actually going to be a short episode. There's not a ton that I picked out to talk about, and really most of it is pretty basic, straightforward stuff, so there's not a lot to discuss. However, we will be discussing new achievements that have been added to the game, so if that's something you don't want spoiled, you should not watch that section of the video. Timestamps, as always, are in the description down below, and if you hover over the video title here, you should, or over the video itself, there should be timestamped broken up in the actual timeline of the video. So, tongue twisters aside, let's jump into it. So first, from Ash Glaw, we got the option to craft starch from cattails in your faction camps. Or rather, are they called faction camps? Your NPC camps that you form yourself. This was because they could apparently harvest cattails, but they could not actually convert them into starch. And if you're not familiar with Cataclysm, super detailed, starch can be converted into flour. For a long time, this is how I played the game when I first started playing. I would turn cattails into starch, turn starch into flour, and then just eat flour-based goods, basically the whole time that I played the game, because it was like a renewable, pretty infinite source of materials. So to see that happen for the NPC faction camp, it makes sense from at least a min-max perspective. As they develop NPC camps, I am hoping to see something similar to what players have experienced, which is where morale and whatnot decreases over time the more you consume an item. So it makes perfect sense that this was added. They probably should have had this ability, but I do hope in the future that it's nerfed in some way, because it is pretty powerful to as a pseudo infinite food source. It can be pretty OP. So I would like to see that kind of thing get nerfed. Faction camps are something that I don't personally enjoy very much. I get this, and I think it makes sense. But I think that the faction camps themselves need expanded in general. So we'll see more of that stuff in the future, I'm sure. Certainly, I can't really think of anyone who's working on NPC faction stuff at the moment. So whatever, it's a possibility in the future. So that is our first change. Our next change is wallet items being added to the game by Scrivener. And this is just a simple wallet item that holds cash and ID cards. There are a lot of ID cards in the game, military, industrial, science, etc. And it made sense that we would get some wallets, because even in the future, where we no longer use actual cash and we use cash cards, probably still going to carry a wallet. There were several that have been added to the game, including some that are craftable, I believe. We have a plastic one. No, I'm sorry. This is the base wallet, which is plastic. We have, those are the pockets. We have, that's a coin purse. Why a coin purse? Are there coins? Oh, there are coins. We shouldn't show those. Those are kind of spoilery. We have a duct tape wallet, of course. Everyone who was a teenager in the 90s had a duct tape wallet. We have leather wallet, a large wallet, stylish wallet, travel wallet, etc. So they were added quite a few wallets to the game. I like this in general. Anything that can flesh out, the world more. I'm pro of those. I'm in on the pro side of those particular changes. So for me, this makes sense, that mostly for no reason other than because now we can throw it on basically every dead zombie, and even if they don't have a cash card or whatever, we could potentially. I mean, for me, I wouldn't hate seeing an ID item added to the game that's kind of like our survivor notes, where it just outputs a random name, tells you some basic information about the zombie. So like, you kill a guy and you find his wallet and it says, oh, this was, Mark Phillips and he was 32. We killed him. He was an organ donor. He, whatever, just basic information that popped up randomly for each zombie. I don't know how they would do something like that, but that's what I thought of first when I saw the wallet item. As for the actual storage of cash and ID cards, I don't think it was strictly necessary. I've never had cash or ID cards and been like, man, these are disorganized. I really wish I had a bag specifically for those items. That said, I love it. Like, I really like that they added wallets to the game, if for no other reason than because they'll show up probably on basically every zombie. I don't know if they added them to most zombie drops or not, but that seems like a natural progression. It doesn't look like they did. So probably the only way you're going to find these at the moment is to craft them yourself. That can't be right because he added more than are craftable. Because you can only craft the duct tape wallet and the leather wallet. So what item groups did you add these to? Maybe none. Maybe this was just the initial implementation and they're going to do that later. Regardless, there are wallets in the game now. And, you know, that seems like a natural thing. So pretty fond of this change. Albeit a very simple one. So moving on. Next from, I'm sorry, I can't say your name. We're going to say Lovum. Because I'm bad at names. Expanded sewers with map extras. So previously, if you've ever been in a sewer in a town, it basically was just a long corridor of nothingness, and there really wasn't anything special about it. There wasn't really anything, like you would find fish or rats down there, but there really was not anything interesting. Why did this spawn? There must be stairs in there somewhere. Why would it spawn? This must be a basement to a house. I was going to say, why would it spawn locked in stone there? But anyway, that's irrelevant. So previously, sewers were basically just long corridors of muck that you would walk through, and there really wasn't much down there of interest. And this person has taken the time to spruce these up, basically, has added them some additional specials. Now, how did you use nested chunks? How did you do this? With map extras. So they're just additional map extras, I guess. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So essentially, instead of being a long corridor of nothingness, now it will be a long corridor with something in it. So like pipes, walkways, things like that. Very simple, but again, anything that fleshes the world out. Obviously, sewers are not just long tunnels. There is stuff down there. There are pipes. There are walkways, and I mean, we always had manhole access, but like, I don't know. Did you add this special storage room, or was that something that already existed? I didn't look into, basically, again, so I'm having a little bit of a rough time in my personal life. I did essentially no research this week. I just slapped down the names and was like, we'll just talk about it. People will be fine with it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any of the actual map gen laid out. Whatever, they added pipes, pumps, walkways, grates, maintenance rooms. Okay, so they did add a maintenance room, metal bars, etc., just to make things a little bit less bland and a little bit more realistic, and I really like this. So pretty basic. Not many people venture into the sewers anyway, but they do look a lot better now, I gotta say, than they used to. So that is definitely something cool. Next from Rogel Dorn, we have audited gun store spawns. This happens occasionally. People will audit item groups and stuff. Essentially what that means is that they will go through, they will pick a location or a specific item group that's tied to, let's say we decide today, I want to review everything that a cop zombie drops because I want to assess the statistical, like real world values versus in-game values on what a cop generally carries. And that's more or less what they have done for the gun store. So here they're saying, okay, well, I keep going into gun stores and I'm seeing guns that are actually illegal in the United States, so why would that exist inside a store in New England? That's basically what this is. They went through spawning extremely rare and possibly illegal weapons that don't make sense. Additionally, ammo vending machines, they've always been a bit laughably unrealistic. I love those vending machines. It's the best place to get ammo, but yeah, that's, I guess did you remove those? That's kind of a bummer. I really like them. They did remove the ammo vending machines. That's disappointing, but at least they additionally placed ammo behind some bars and things, which is more realistic. That is how every gun store I've ever been in has been very restrictive on where the ammo is stored. So I don't know what actual averages are, but whenever I go in, it is very well prevented. I mean, obviously, you're not going to put bullets on the counter, right? So that makes sense. But basically, they went through, audited this, and compared it to real-world values because basically in Cataclysm, we have a lot of guns that are not actually that common in the United States. We saw a major revamp of shotguns probably about 2 months ago. someone went through, audited all the shotguns and their spawn rates based on what the real world equivalents are. So it didn't make sense that, like, okay, well, only 1% of gun owners have this particular type of shotgun. 10% of shotgun owners have this type of shotgun. 75% have this, etc. So they can take real world values and audit the percentages, spawn rates based on that. So that's essentially what this did. The removal of ammunition vending machines is probably the thing I would point out the most, because I think that is going to negatively impact people. Gun stores for a long time have spawned kind of nonsensical clips and a lack of ammunition for what they are. And I've always assumed that was to simulate some sort of raiding, but we've moved away from that to where they're overstocking most locations now with items so that in the future they can simulate raiding. So hopefully this also buffed their spawn rates considerably. I really won't know until I play a little bit. I can look in the files, but I'm not very good at reading those things. But no more vending machines. That's my takeaway from this. So moving on. Next, from Jeremy. I've seen this individual on Discord a fair bit, so hello, Jeremy. They have added additional mutant dreams. So if you're not familiar, little mild spoilers, but as you mutate, you will begin to have dreams. Based on the type of mutations that you're getting, you will get a variety of dreams. This just adds a few more. I'm trying not to show specific information, although it's very difficult to do that when you have a PR right in front of you. Basically, add some additional dreams. That's really all that this is. I think mutant dreams were revisited previously because a lot of older ones were a bit silly and goofy. And they could probably still do with some more auditing, although adding additional ones I think is always a good thing, because getting these really cut and dry, repetitive dreams that you get, every time I'm getting dreams of swimming in the ocean because I'm a fish. And it's like, it gets repetitive to see the same messages. So an expansion on dreams, I'm pretty much always going to say is a good decision. So thanks, Jeremy. And just wanted to put this out there. Next, from Curse Twist, we got some long gun cases and containers. This is in addition to the lengthy duffel bag that we discussed in a previous episode. Basically, if you've been playing the game since Nested Containers, you probably have noticed that you can't put guns in a lot of backpacks and things because they are too big and backpacks are too small. And so Curse Twist has added multiple long gun cases to increase our ability to transport and store firearms. Really great. Love seeing this. This has been a point of frustration for myself as well as other people, not having anything that I can carry a gun. If you go raid that gun store that just got updated, honestly, you can't just walk home with, 5 guns in your pockets the way you could in a previous, in 0. D, for instance, or even E stable. You could do that. In current experimental, that does not work. And so adding more of these gun cases is beneficial. Even if they can only carry one additional weapon, that's still pretty great compared to 0. So hard to dislike this. Added recipes for all of these, and they are auto-learned, so you don't need to look for books in order to craft these particular items. They do require zippers, huh? I want to start incorporating them in recipes. I didn't know we had zippers. That must be a relatively recent thing. So they use a large gun. And I was picturing a large plastic, like military-style gun case, and these are actually not. These are leather. What was this one? It is cotton, and they can store up to 2 rifles. I mean, so they're bags. When I hear case, I think of like plastic protective cases. Leather case. That's interesting. I mean, really, regardless, it doesn't change the value of these items. They're quite valuable. So you do need a zipper, huh? Where's the recipes at? I did not, I've yet to see a zipper in the game. I must not have been paying a lot of attention. No, I'm looking for recipes. Here we go. Rags, zipper long plastic or zipper short plastic. Okay. Is that going to become... This is not in scope of this discussion, but like I'm curious if this will become requirements as well for backpacks and things. That will be interesting, because currently backpacks are literally just rags and string, which makes sense for a drawstring bag, but not for something like a proper backpack or rucksack. That's really interesting. I didn't know we had zippers. I must have missed that somewhere. Usually I pay a lot more attention to this stuff than the average player. I usually know that kind of stuff. But regardless, more gun cases that can accommodate not only one gun, but multiple guns. Some of them were storage for 2 rifles. So that's pretty great. Happy to see that added to the game. We probably should have told you what their names are in case you wanted to look for them. Rifle case, leather rifle case, double rifle case, leather double rifle case. I see a pattern here. Long leather rifle case. Okay, so those should be something you should keep in mind. The next change we want to discuss involves the achievements. So again, if you don't want spoilers on achievements that have been added to the game, you should not watch this section because there have been quite a few that have been added. They follow a few archetypes, and we're going to just briefly touch on them. So, from Jay, by the way, we got achievements added to the game related to kills. We already had this for zombies. We had decimate was 10, then there was 100, kill 100 zombies, etc. But this adds multiple kill counts for multiple different types of enemies, which I guess, species are differentiated by species. So, for instance, we now have achievements towards killing cyborgs, killing nether creatures, killing fungus, insects, robots. I guess that's it, huh? And then it looks like the code is set up in a way that instead of being manually assigned, they're just set up to be generated automatically with multiples of 10. So, killing 1 will get you the resistance is not futile achievement, but then there will be additional achievements for killing 10, killing 100, etc. That's if I understand this right. Yes, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Good God, who would kill 100,000 monsters? Let's be real, guys. Let's be real, dev team. Pun on Hetzy, meaning 100,000 in, I can't say words, so don't hate me. But, really. But anyway, there have been achievements added to the game for killing multiple other species. Again, this is, I don't think of this as like a heavy spoiler because some of these are displayed in game, but I don't know which ones are hidden and which ones are revealed. That's mainly why I mentioned the spoiler thing. But anyway, kills based on species is a new achievement set. Also from Jay, by the way, we got passing mutation thresholds. So basically, if you pass a mutations threshold, you will get an achievement. I think it is just one achievement. Oh, no, it is based on your mutation threshold as well. So, Homo evolutus, world of man has ended. Long live the world of transhumanism. It's interesting because transhumanism can also be is a word I hear people use for bionics. So I think that is interesting. But just simply crossing a threshold will give you this achievement. And then it looks like there are individuals you get. Oh, I'm sorry. This was previously. Yes, I'm bad. I don't really mutate in the game. I know it's a huge system. Everybody loves it, but I'm not a huge fan. So there was already this achievement, but now you will get it customized based on which threshold that you've passed. So let's have a look at this. Carbon neutral lets you pass the plant threshold. In fact, I shouldn't show all of these by name. So basically, there are mutations that have been, once you pass a threshold for a specific line of mutations, you will now get an achievement based on that, which is fine. I don't think that it's, I think the average player never makes it that far, to be perfectly honest, but I'm a pro conducts and pro achievements in a huge way, so I love to see this stuff. But yeah, I don't have much more to say about that. And then finally, also, Jay, by the way, and I want to touch on this, I think the point of this is that 0.F is coming, so like they're trying to really flesh out some of the features before, like that. We've seen Urk really pushing to update Ultica, which by the way has been updated again multiple times. You see him pushing really hard to update Ultica for the 0.F release because it is now a mainstay it's now the default tile set. Jay, by the way, these achievements have been in the game for a while, but they're not really expanded upon. They're pretty basic, and because we're coming up on a stable release, there's been a push to at least maybe not, get a perfect number of conducts and achievements, but flesh it out a little bit more so that new players who are coming in on 0.F are going to get to experience this for the first time, and it's not going to be like lackluster, like, oh, we have 6 achievements, right? Currently, we have probably I don't know at this point, probably a couple hundred, like probably about 100 achievements would be my guess, just based on what I'm recollecting. I've not actually looked in detail lately as to how many we have, but we're getting up there. The thresholds alone adds like what, a dozen achievements just in that, and then the kill multiple species. Each of those had what, 5 achievements tied to each individual species, which we have like, I think there were 6 species, so that's like 30 right there. We got to be around 100 achievements. But anyway, also from Jay, by the way, we got conducts related to attacking and smashing. Basically, 4 attacking events for various sorts of attacking, melee, ranged, against monsters, and against characters. So if we look for an example of what this means, because I don't know what that means. Oh, I see conducts. Right, conducts. Sorry, I was thinking achievements. Conducts. So basically, if you don't attack, it's broken into 4 things. So if you play the game and you never use a ranged weapon, you're going to maintain the no ranged weapon conduct or no ranged attack conduct. Same with melee. If you go 100% range, you're going to avoid the melee use conduct, right? So conducts are just a way of, in my opinion, they're a way of encouraging people to play a way they normally wouldn't. So there might be a player out there who's like, I want to do something special. What do I do? Well, let's look at conducts. Okay, you know what? There is a conduct for never smashing a tile in the entire game. This run, why don't we try not to smash any tiles no matter what? So I like conducts because they kind of form a guide and hopefully push people a little out of their comfort zone so that they pursue something else. I would like to see achievements and conducts reward the player in some way, but I think that that's very difficult to do in a roguelike. Usually these sort of things are just bragging rights, but seeing them implemented even at a baseline is pretty great. So avoiding attacking monsters, avoiding attacking characters, they're broken down into separate things so you can have multiple no melee conducts. So even if I go punch my NPC in the face because he's mouthing off, I can still maintain the no melee against monsters conduct. Does that make sense? Got a little rambly there. I don't know if that all made sense. But I'm pro conducts and I'm pro achievements, and you probably should be too. So for now, I think that's going to be a wrap on this particular episode. Again, apologies if, this video is going to be late. Probably won't go up till Sunday. Normally, I try to go up Thursday or Friday. Just dealing with a lot in my personal life. Really have been painfully unhappy and struggling quite a lot over the last couple of days. That probably also shows through in this video a little bit. I'm just a little bit off is the best way I can say that without going into horrible detail about how life is terrible. But everybody, thanks for watching. I appreciate that you made it this far into the video. Hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully you learned something. So everybody go out and play a little bit of Cataclysm. And I, of course, will be back in a couple weeks with another episode of the Experimental Cataclysm. For now, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.